It's a question that's been asked ever since the first camera was invented. What is the perfect camera? Well, I think I may have found out. It has a 6K sensor, global shutter, and 16 stops of dynamic range. There's even slow motion at up to 120 frames per second. But there's plenty of other cameras with similar specs. So what makes this one so special? Well, to start off with, it has 16-bit RAW, and that's a lot of bits. It's proper RAW too, not like those half-baked options from Apple and Blackmagic. That means you have full control over the ISO, white balance and color profile, and changing them in post won't have any nasty effects on your image. The RAW files are easy to work with too. They're compatible with almost every editing program, and because of RED's unique video compression system, the files aren't that much bigger than the equivalent ProRes options. Now, you might assume that with such high quality, flexible files, the footage would be quite difficult to grade, but it's not. A simple conversion LUT or a plugin such as Dehancer, 10% off with code Always Cinematic, will do the job nicely. And once you've figured all of these things out and you've got your head around RED's rather unique traffic light exposure system, the footage you can get from the Komodo is truly incredible.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win.
Now, it's true that you can get great footage out of almost any camera, but the Komodo just makes it easy. The image is so robust that you can correct any issues and the audience will be none the wiser. The color science also helps with getting very pleasing skin tones and deep, rich colors. If you're looking for a good drone camera, or maybe just a camera that doesn't make your image look like it's been hit by a Richter 9 earthquake, then the Komodo's global shutter is a big selling point. By scanning the whole sensor at once instead of line by line, the image is clean of the wobbly jello mess that occurs if you get a bit too excited with a regular rolling shutter camera. Now, because of the global shutter, you are limited to 16 stops of dynamic range, which is still impressive, but it's not as much as you'll get from a Red Raptor or an Alexa 35. However, 16 stops should be enough to stop even the brightest of highlights from blowing out. The rather boxy nature of the camera makes it very easy to kit out for different situations and makes it the perfect gimbal camera. And if you're a fan of gimbals, well, you'll be pleased to hear that this camera has a phase detection autofocus system, which seems to be just as fast and just as accurate as Canon's first generation dual pixel autofocus. The battery life is good too. A pair of Canon BP batteries will give you 3 to 4 hours of runtime, and you can get even longer if you use a V-mount battery. And this brings me on to the price. £6,000 is rather expensive, but this is for a RED. You can use third-party accessories to build your rig, unlike the previous DSM-T2 cameras. And because it has that RED brand name, it should make getting on shoots just that little bit easier. Now, I will admit low light isn't great, but with fast primes you should be alright. And if the lack of built-in ND filters bothers you, then there are various options, such as the Kippertie system or the Canon variable ND filters. So if I still haven't managed to convince you that the RED Komodo is the perfect cinema camera, then have a look at some of this footage.